for carrying my pack, Zach.
No problem. You know, how's your arm?
It's okay. It's still a bit sore, though.
Oh yeah? Well, you spent a 35-hour train ride to Churchill writing letters to your family?
I know, I didn't want to leave anybody out.
Well, I have a surprise for you.
What? What is it?
This tape recorder will allow you to send oral letters. Yep, all you have to do is say record, and it starts recording. You say stop, and it stops. Rewind, it rewinds.
Jamie, this is amazing! Thank you! Can I try it?
Sure.
Record. We are here in Northern Manitoba. Okay, stop. Rewind. Okay, play.
We are here in Northern Manitoba.
Oh no, what's wrong with it? I don't sound like that, do I?
Well, I only had one tape, and you want to send 142 letters, so I think they're gonna have to be at high speed.
Record. I will soon be traveling on my own, as Jamie may decide to stay here with the polar bears.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh, wait a minute. That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
In this episode of CG Kids, we visit the blustery north of Manitoba, known as the polar bear capital of the world.
We check out the chilly tundra both on foot and by polar buggy with 16-year-old Kyle Wilkowski.
Then we go bear patrolling and discover some misbehaving bears who are sent off to bear jail?
In Jay's Geology, I check out ice cubes, ice cups, and ice cream.
Big buggies, bad bears, and bitter breezes all on this episode of CG Kids.
Geographic Kids.
Record. Jamie is the best traveling companion I could ever have. Stop. Rewind. Play.
Jamie is the best traveling companion.
Now it's too slow.
Don't worry, Jamie, I won't feed you to the polar bears yet. We are here in Churchill, Manitoba, considered to be the polar bear capital of the world. Now, Churchill is in the northeastern corner of Manitoba, and it's only about 200 kilometers from the border with the territory of Nunavut. So as you can imagine, it is very cold up here.
Polar bears can be found in many parts of northern Canada, but Churchill has a reputation for having the most polar bears because it lies right in the middle of their annual migratory path.
Churchill has a population of around 1,000 people, but at this time of year, it grows with thousands of tourists and hundreds of Canada's great white bears.
Yay, polar bears!
That's because these amazing animals congregate here on the shores of Hudson Bay every fall, waiting for the water to freeze so they can head out on the ice and catch some dinner. And these guys are hungry. They've gone about 4 months without food.
So polar bears can be 10 feet tall and weigh up to 600 kilograms, can't they?
Yeah.
I think we should get out of their path.
You know what, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Actually, Jennifer and Jamie are right to be nervous. Living in the path of these incredible bears when they're hungry isn't easy, especially when they're raiding your garbage can. It's a little different than your neighborhood raccoon, but it's only a matter of a few weeks before the water of Hudson Bay begins to freeze, and these bears are off across the ice. Churchill sits up on the western side of Canada's largest bay, Hudson Bay. With Churchill River on one side and the bay on the other, the polar bears must travel more of a narrow route, straight through the town of Churchill. When you think of Manitoba, Canada's most eastern prairie province, cold tundra and polar bears aren't the usual images that jump into your head. But yet the province has everything from prairie parkland to boreal forest to cold tundra in the north. The area where Churchill is located is also known as the Hudson Bay Lowlands and is cool and moist. If I click on the population markers, you can see how unpopulated northern Manitoba is. Churchill is the biggest town in the north, and yet when I click on the roads, there are none leading up to it. You have to either take a 35-hour train ride from Winnipeg, like Jennifer and Jamie did, or fly in. Churchill is well known for a variety of amazing wildlife, including beluga whales. But I think nothing can beat the world's largest land predator, the incredible great white bear of the north.
Well, I don't see any bears.
I know, but Jamie, they could totally just be camouflaged there, hiding in the snow, just waiting to pounce.
Well, we gotta go out there sometime. We gotta meet 16-year-old Kyle Wilkowski.
You know what? You're right. We should stop being such scaredy cats. Let's go.
We're big and scary enough.
Scary? The bears aren't gonna be scared. Did you hear that?
Oh, I think there's something behind us. Don't look! You're gonna aggravate it.
Should we run?
No, you never run from a bear. Don't you remember we learned that in Alberta?
Okay, well, we gotta do something. Oh, I have to look.
Kyle! What are you doing creeping around town like that?
What are you guys doing walking around? There could be bears here.
Okay, Kyle, you took a good 7 years off my life there, buddy. Look, is there somewhere safer that maybe we could, hang out?
Well, I have a couple of skidoo over there. Do you guys want to go for a ride around town?
Yeah.
Faster than the bears. Okay,
Yes.
You go in front, you go in behind. Everybody, watch each other's back.
Kyle has grown up in Churchill and he knows everything about the land. He's been fishing since he was 5 years old, hunting and trapping since he was 10, plus he knows tons about the geology and wildlife of this area. He wants to work for the Department of Natural Resources someday. Fun stuff.
Kyle, that was so wicked! I love this!
Being from Churchill, you must see a lot of polar bears.
Yeah, I see a few.
Yeah. So I got a few questions. For instance, one is how do they eat the seals that are under the water in the ice?
Well, seals have to breathe. They're mammals, so they have to come up for air, and so they have breathing holes in the ice. And what the bears do is they crouch down low beside the breathing holes so the seals can't see them. And when the seals come up, the bears grab them.
What other sort of wildlife do you see around here?
You'll see everything, from wolves, wolverine, moose, caribou. You'll see the bears, obviously. You'll see an assortment of different kinds of freshwater fish and a few saltwater species as well.
What about there's these rocks or something that were left here from glaciers?
They're actually called either Churchill quartzite or else gray wacky rock. And yeah, they were left by the glaciers when the glaciers receded a long time ago.
How did these rocks get here?
Glacial till. When the glaciers were here, when they melted, they receded into the Hudson Bay and they tilled up a bunch of different kinds of rock and actually crushed them together, which formed all these lines. That's why you'll see lines and scratches and scars all over these rocks when there's not snow on top of them.
We have to be really careful not to go out too far on the land and make sure we keep our eyes peeled for roaming polar bears, 'cause you never know.
Polar bear! It's got my leg!
Phew, false alarm.
Just a joke.
I heard a little rumor that your family runs a little company.
Yeah, they do. Great White Bear Tours. It's a polar bear touring company.
Each winter, Kyle's family takes around 7,000 tourists out on the tundra to look for polar bears. They use a wacky-looking bus called a polar buggy.
Do you actually try to make sure that you don't disrupt the environment too much?
Yeah, we take into consideration the fact that tundra can't grow back very fast, and there's also designated trails and areas you have to stay on.
The polar buggies also have special flotation tires so they don't harm the tundra.
So, Kyle, how old were you when you first learned to drive the polar buggy?
Oh, I was probably about 6 or 7.
So you were probably like your head came to your shoulder. You were just this little tot driving this big buggy.
Yeah, about there.
What signs would you look for when looking for polar bears?
Well, polar bears basically just scan the horizon and look for a slightly more yellow color than the snow is. And basically it's just a trained eye. After you've done it for a little while, you start to see them.
And doesn't this thing scare them away? Like, what do you mean they come up and scratch the windows?
Most bears will come up to the buggies and they'll stand up as long as everybody in the buggy is fairly quiet, turn the engine off.
Hey, Kyle, how come polar bears don't hibernate?
They just don't have to. They lay around a lot and they're very lazy in the summertime to preserve the fat reserves that they've gotten in the wintertime when they're out eating seals. So they don't really have to hibernate. They can take all forms of temperature.
Kyle, is that a polar bear?
Yeah, I think it is.
Wow.
It's so
wicked that you get to spend your spare time riding around in a polar buggy, looking at polar bears.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, that's a nice bus. That's great. I mean, those tires, they're huge. Do you mind if I ride on here for a while? I'm tired of all that polar bear riding.
You shouldn't be riding polar bears, Seldon. Those things are dangerous.
What are you talking about? I come here every year to ride those polar bears, and they love hanging out with me.
I don't believe you.
No, you know what? Neither do I.
Hello, excuse me, mate. I think you dropped some pictures.
Hey, thanks, there.
Eldon, look at these.
Those
You're
are-
with polar bears.
Yeah, that's my buddy there. He's really fast. Yeah, that's... And look at that. I'm just, feeling the fur there. That's so nice. Yeah, I like that. And that's my girlfriend. She's great. I can't wait to see her next year if she doesn't eat too many seals.
Hey guys, it's that time again. Triviography time. And the question is...
Why is Jen's hair made of yarn?
No, the question is, why do Jamie and I have the world's biggest teeth?
Because we're so happy! Okay, we should ask them the real triviography question.
The question is, what is an igloo?
Igloo?
And it's not one of those snow houses that people live in.
Igloo?
And it's not something a detective might get.
A clue?
Don't get a splinter trying to get the answer!
There was a time when a lot of these polar bears didn't make it to Hudson's Bay during their migration. Now, for their own safety, the people of this area often had to shoot and ask questions later.
Today, the people of Churchill believe in living harmoniously within the path of the polar bears. Like most bears, they won't attack unless you provoke them or their cubs. But if the town people see a bear getting into mischief in town, they know who to call.
The Manitoba Conservation Authority. Its officers patrol the area to make sure bears don't get too close to the town.
So, Rodney, are we looking for bears right now or just going to the traps?
We're, keep an eye open for bears right now and just checking the traps basically.
Traps that are baited with seal fat are set up around Churchill to protect the townspeople from wandering bears. But one of their favorite hangouts is the town dump. Here we found Conservation Officer Pat Cronin keeping his eyes peeled.
What's wrong with letting a bear have a little snack in the dump before it heads out on the ice?
We don't want the bears coming to the dump because they'll get habituated to the food, and then they'll associate the dump with people. And if they get to town, they see garbage on your front doorstep, then you got problems. You'll be pounding on your front door.
So what is it about the dump that the bears find so irresistible and appealing?
Just what you see here, your basic sardine cans and any leftovers that people throw out.
And,
such as zucchini or...
Frozen zucchini.
Apparently
zucchini.
They don't like that. Any leftovers, chicken bones, T-bones, anything tasty.
Suddenly, we notice someone sniffing around nearby.
Pat, when you come and you find a polar bear so close to the community like this, what do you do with it?
Usually we would tranquilize it and either fly it out or put it in polar bear jail.
So are you going to do that to that bear right now?
No, right now, we'll just try and scare him out on the ice and hopefully he'll head out and not come back anymore.
Go to the ice,
Look
bears!
at that big guy over there.
Whoa, there's lots of polar bears around here. Are we in any danger right now?
No, this is about as close as you'll want to get though.
Oh, wow.
These aren't real bullets. They're blanks that make a loud bang to scare the bears away. Good luck, buddy. You go. Ah! That scares me. Whoa. Again, these aren't bullets. These are blanks. and they're just scaring the bears. They're not shooting at them. We are so close.
Look at the size of that bear.
Look at that guy right there.
I know, he's not bothered at all. Trying to get some sleep.
All the bears have been scared off except this guy. Something else is in store for him.
Hey guys, it's time for the Triviography answer. And the question is, where's Jamie?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he should be here. He could totally help us out. I know, I should never have made him those legs out of twigs. He just up and walked away. I know, that's not cool. I know, it's totally not cool.
Okay, I think Jennifer's finally lost it, Jay. Anyway, the Triviography question is, what is an igloo?
A glue. Igloos are pretty important to two very different animals. These animals look for them for their own survival. An igloo is an Inuit word referring to a hole in the ice. When Hudson Bay freezes over, seals who need to surface regularly to breathe actually cut holes in the ice. These holes are called igloos, which means seal's breathing hole in Inuktitut. The seals use strong claws on their flippers to dig and maintain these holes so they won't freeze over. The polar bears of Churchill who are heading across these frozen waters are also looking for igloos, so they can wait near one, hoping to have a seal for dinner.
We're on polar bear patrol in Churchill with the Manitoba Conservation Authority. We've chased all the bears out of town except for one. He's known as number 5.
Well, that one is a real problem. We'll probably have to drug him and put him in jail because he doesn't want to leave.
Jail for number 5.
How did he get the number 5 on his back?
We've marked him. We've caught him, I believe, 5 times already.
He's a repeat offender.
He's
5
a
times.
repeat offender.
5 times! I hope you charge him.
This dart contains a tranquilizer drug which will put the bear to sleep for 3 or 4 hours.
I don't want you getting out of the vehicle, okay? Because we don't know which way it's going to run or where it's going to go.
Oh, they got it.
They got him. Remember that dart is just a tranquilizer, so number 5 isn't hurt. He's just going to get very sleepy.
Just wanted some tuna.
He's down for the count.
Once Pat makes sure that number 5 is completely asleep, he allows us to touch him.
It's pretty soft blubber. They are cute and soft. Like a big fat dog.
His foot is like, feel that, how warm that is.
They're sharp too, those teeth, huh?
Yep.
This is the most incredible moment of my entire life. So it's off to the slammer for number 5. So far this season, 117 bears have gone to polar bear jail.
So we just wanted to say good luck in jail, good luck in the joint, be good.
Time to make some changes.
Turn your life around.
Bye! We'll send you some cookies with a file in it.
This old military base is used to jail number 5 for about a week until the Hudson's Bay has frozen. Then he'll be flown by helicopter out onto the ice to continue his migration.
It's pretty cold out today. It's even below freezing. The ground is really hard and frozen, but not the lake. That's because the lake, or water, can hold its heat longer than the land. But because water is always on the move, it can also release heat energy, and this creates a moderating effect, which helps warm up the land directly near the water. You can really see that here by the lack of snow. But in the case of Hudson Bay, because it's frozen for about 8 months out of the year, it can't warm up the land around it. So that's why Churchill can get pretty cold. Churchill has the fresh water of Churchill River running past it and into Hudson Bay, while salt water enters the bay from the northwest. So how does this affect the water freezing? Let's check it out. All liquids from milk to water have a freezing point. This refers to the temperature at which the liquid becomes solid under normal conditions. Plain old fresh water freezes and becomes ice at 0 degrees Celsius. But this is also the melting point of ice. So if I add ice to water that is 0 degrees Celsius, then the water is freezing at the same rate that the ice is melting. If I wanted to melt the ice more quickly, I would raise its temperature above 0 degrees. And if I wanted to freeze the water faster, I would lower its temperature below 0. There's another way I can melt an ice cube, by changing some of the other conditions affecting the ice. Watch what happens when I try to cut this ice cube in half using a piece of wire. As I exert pressure on this ice cube using this copper wire, I'm also producing heat. And this will melt the ice cube. But as there's no pressure above the wire, the ice freezes again over top. This is called regelation. There's a second way I can keep ice from forming, and that's by lowering its freezing point. By adding salt to the ice, this changes the overall water mixture. So this heavier mixture actually needs a colder temperature than 0 degrees to be able to freeze. Let me demonstrate it another way by actually mixing salt into water. When any foreign substance is added to water, this lowers the water's freezing point. I'm mixing salt into just one of these glasses to demonstrate. Both these glasses of water have been in the freezer for a couple of hours. My salty water isn't completely frozen, it's slushy and watery. But my fresh water is frozen solid, the glass even cracked. But if I took both their temperatures, they would be the same, at -5 degrees Celsius. So for the polar bears who live in the Churchill area, they have to wait longer for the water to freeze because they have to wait until the temperature gets below 0. Which means they have to wait longer for dinner. So these are some pretty hungry polar bears. But there's an advantage to us humans who can lower the freezing point. We can make ice cream. To make really good smooth ice cream, you want cold, but not freezing temperatures. So, if we lower the freezing point of my water by adding salt, the sugar, milk, and vanilla mixture gets cold, but stays creamy. Let's see if it's ready. Too bad polar bears don't eat ice cream.
A fantastic fact about Churchill is the role that lichen played in bringing people to this area. Lichen is part fungi and part algae, and some of it is about 2,000 years old. Right near the Prince of Wales Fort National Historic Site of Canada, 3 different types of lichen grow. The early Inuit and European settlers scraped this lichen off the rocks and made soups and stews from it to help them survive the harsh Churchill winters. A lichen lollipop. Hehehe. Ha ha ha.
Thank you so much for escorting us here, Jackie. You kept us so safe the whole way.
I know, you're totally amazing, but don't worry, I'm gonna tell all my friends and family about how awesome you are, because Jamie fixed my tape recorder. Okay, check this out, okay? Record. Hi, Mom! Hi, Daddy! I'm here in Churchill with, okay, say your name. Jackie? Jackie! And she's our bear monitor, because here in Churchill, you need a bear monitor to walk around with you so you're safe. You wanna say hi to my folks? Hi, folks!
Whoa! Oh, that doesn't sound good.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. Oh. Oh, okay, I can fix this.
Okay, Jackie.
Guys, there's your train, and see ya. Have a good trip.
Well, she took off pretty fast. Now I can't even send a message.
You don't think she's worried about a bear?
I was just outside with my friends, the Blitzen and Dancer and and Casper.
High five on the side.
Yeah.
Down low. Too slow.
Okay.
What's going on around here? Everybody's losing their mind. Everybody just relax. She's going to eat me. No, that's terrible.
He tastes bad.